Well, we've successfully brought Kate back from the dead.
The healing waters!
But it only works once.
Oh no.
So don't screw up again, Kate. Actually, technically that was my fault, so... Note to myself in the past, don't screw up again. So here's the that same apocalyptic message we heard before. Slightly different take this time.
We've been betrayed by one of our own. He's got the slip on us. Drunk us. Shit. We're being held in the loading bay. They just dragged Simpson away. Mutilated. Oh God. You can hear this. We need your help. Please. Repeat, we're in the loading bay. We need help. Please hurry.
Lady with gun, please report to loading bay.
So aside from the wanted posters, that's like the only bit of foreshadowing in the XBLA version that Mila is the traitor. And even then, it's heavily implied to be male.
Whoever's in charge of this health and safety like around here needs to be fired. Take it.
Really, Scoot, we made that joke 2 videos ago. Get with the program.
Fire Scoot, hire us.
It's so disappointing. Both Scoots are betraying our senses of humor. So, unfortunately, you'd think there would be a puzzle around, given that there's a CCTV here, but this is just a scripted event. You have to wait for the glass to break. And then you can go through. You just sort of have to, like, roll through that fire jet there.
Whoa. Everything coming at you.
Yeah, this is pretty chaotic. This is also one of the few maps in the original where they actually color-coded the pipes. And finally, we got some semi-auto rounds.
The gun is now a gun.
Yes, finally. It only took like 2 videos for for it to catch up, and this is also where the frequency key is in XBLA. Again, in the worst possible place, design-wise. It's like almost every choice they made that didn't relate to water in XBLA was probably the worst one.
Oh, that's a schlep.
And you'd think that given that there's like a whole vent in there, that's where you're supposed to go. But no, this is actually... You're just supposed to go outward there. Like, there's not even a collectible in there. It's dead space for no real reason.
Squandered design, fellas. Like, I'm really taking points off here.
Alright, so I guess I can take the opportunity here to talk a little bit about some of the ways that they we've already talked about the ways that they could not handle criticism dug into digital, but now once they've sort of licked their wounds and decided that, you know, maybe their precious baby had some serious flaws, they actually had some pretty ingenious ways of getting around to fixing their mistakes. And the big one that they did was they knew that, you know, they've been working on this game for 4 years, and they knew that they would not possibly be able to have like an objective viewpoint to be able to fix the mistakes. So, but they also knew that they had real trouble, you know, reading critical reviews. So instead, they took all of the reviews they had and they compiled them into algorithmic data, essentially. They looked at every positive and negative review, looked at where they were positive and where they were negative, and put it into a spreadsheet. And so they prioritized all of they prioritized all the negative areas and put a little bit of effort into polishing the positive ones. And they took that data And that was what went into Pure, which was the 4 megabyte patch that was put in 4 months after the initial release on Xbox Live Arcade. And that received pretty significant praise from a lot of the game's biggest detractors.
So suddenly the detractors had a game that they could play.
Yeah. Like, there's a Eurogamer thread from, circa 2010, or sorry, 2011, where, your opinion was going pretty quickly from, this is the worst trash I've ever played, to, hey, I actually recommend this game now, it's pretty cool. And that was on Pure. This is not even talking about the remake. This is just from, the patch they put out for XBLA.
And 4 megabytes made a difference. I don't want to say all the difference, but a difference.
Yeah, all the changes they made were technical, and there was all revolutionary ideas like mapping the jump button to A instead of Y, and using the left trigger to aim. But also things like AI, positioning, things like AI perception, damage feedback, putting in the oxygen meter, that sort of thing.
So most of their negative feedback was, have you bastards played Resident Evil 4?
Yeah. Okay, so coming up is where we're really going to start to see a lot of the plot points that were put in pretty awkwardly into the remake.
Oh no.
Mila, I know I cannot appeal to your morality any more than I can appeal to the intellect of a rat. So
If you were a weasel, however, I may be able to appeal to you.
You believe the device in Electrocorp is capable of deactivating the failsafe algorithms embedded in our nanobots.
Nanomachine, son.
Yep.
You are correct.
Yeah.
You do not understand.
Oh
Without
no!
these failsafes, the nanobots will view anything they encounter as a valid source of purification, whether it be oil, seawater, or blood. If you continue down this path, you won't have your genocide weapon. Instead, you will unleash nothing less than
What?
Armageddon.
What?
You will be consumed as surely as the rest of us. The antidote you have stolen is only effective while the failsafes are in place. If you deactivate them, it will become useless. I implore you, stop this madness before it's too late.
Please, someone stop the screenwriters before it's too late.
Won't somebody think of the children?
They want to turn it into a weapon. If Morton's right, if Mila has the only antidote.
So, in one speech, they just introduced fucking nanotechnology out of nowhere.
Oh my god.
I get a feeling like this was part of the plot all along, but they were going to introduce it later, like in maybe a sequel or in one of the later level packs. Because this game was going to be episodic. The original version of Hydrophobia was episode 1. As we'll be seeing later, the ending in the original game is pretty abrupt. And intentionally so. Like, they were setting up for a sequel that was essentially going to be the second level pack and what would eventually add up to be a $60 product.
So this is the pilot of the TV show that didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, it's a little more than that, I'd say, but still, that's a pretty apt analogy, yeah. I mean, the plot does get pretty dumb in XBLA. No nanotechnology, but it is still pretty dumb. Also, just to be clear, Roderick Morton, the guy who was giving that speech, he was the guy who was he's the lead scientist at NanoCell. He's the one who gave that speech on TV at the very beginning of Video 1.
Oh. So he's
this puzzle could be a little annoying to figure out if you're only half paying attention to while you were recording, like me.
Ah! All right.
You can't plan comedy like that. I mean, come on.
Spectacular physics engine, folks.
You've got to clear the elevator shaft.
Sorry, Kate, we ran out of apostrophes. Our subtitlers are working overtime trying to get extra punctuation in there. All right, so here's how some of the underwater combat works. It's pretty fun in the original. It's all right. It's not as fun as it is in Prophecy, but it still works. It's probably the most fun you can have in the original. It works a lot better when you are fully underwater.
Yeah.
We'll be seeing some fights later.
It looks a little awkward dog paddling when you're not fully submerged.
Yeah, it's a lot. The strafing and everything like that, it works a lot better when you are fully submerged. Okay, so we're here to rescue Billingham's men. And Billingham appears briefly in the ending in XBLA. At Prophecy, he does not appear again. Also, I found this guy stuck halfway through the floor.
What?
This is in the XBLA version.
He was having a lot of fun with the underwater combat.
Also, there's a console over there. That is a reused asset from an objective in Act 1 that was cut. That shows up a little bit in the E3 2010 demo, where you would have to activate terminals in a deck that was flooded. But yeah, that objective was eventually removed from the final game. I'll have to track down the video of it, see if I can put it in here.
Do you think they cut that for pacing, or?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there was enough swimming tutorials as we used in Act 1, and there still wasn't any combat. So, yeah, I could definitely see that being cut for pacing reasons.
Okay, Kate. Keep moving.
Oh, there's that frowny face again.
And now, for some reason, the Malthus documents are actually working. I still don't know what happened with those other Malthus documents from Video 3. I gotta wonder, like, those little save the world, kill yourself things, like, did the terrorists just sit down for, like, a week in After Effects making those things? Like,
no.
How did Mila commission those? Did she have to go online to find someone willing to make that for, like, $30?
I don't know why I'm making this, but I mean, making money on Fiverr is making money on Fiverr.
That reminds me, in the original plot synopsis for this game, the original villain, whose name I forget, was also like an internet troll who recruited all of his henchmen online. It was not Mila. It was not Mila. It was someone considerably younger, and I think male as well.
Okay, so the original villain was YOLO Swaggins.
It was kind of like the Arkham Origins version of Anarchy, or whatever his name was.
Oh boy. Yeah. They needed to hire a writer. I'm just gonna say it.
Mind you, I don't mind Mila too much. At least in the Prophecy version of Mila is pretty decent. Also, here's where the combat gets really underwater combat gets really fun. We actually have some. Oh, here we go. Rapid fire rounds. Now it's at this point where if you start seeing a lot of ammo for the rapid fire pistol, you can. I think by the end of the game, I have something like 260 rounds for the rapid fire pistol. Although it is hard coded. The ammo count is hard coded on the original. Once we get rapid fire a little later in the game, I think it's 60 rounds. But rapid fire will quickly become your friend towards the end of the game. It is really fun to use, especially in underwater.
The particle trails especially are crazy.
Yeah, I really like the way that the blood flows in the water. In terms of it adding, it helps both in just aesthetically, but also in gameplay, as like a marker to show where and how enemies are moving.
Though, you know what this game needed that it doesn't have? Sharks.
Yeah. even just like nanotech sharks. You know, Nanocell could use like their water purification technology to have like robot sharks that could, I don't know, they could clean the water somehow with their teeth.
Yeah, it could be like Deep Blue Sea, only instead of eating Samuel L. Jackson, they eat oil. It's perfect.
Quick, go back in time and get hired. Move to Manchester and get hired.
I'm working on it.
Alright, took me a while to figure out what was going on here, because there's a new puzzle that's not in the original that I was kind of confused by.
Yeah, not immediately obvious.
But this is a tutorial that is meant to introduce us to the concept of using objects as cover. So you can grab an object with the E key and sort of put it in front of your face and use it as floating cover. But the thing is that you're not meant to take objects out. You're meant to put them in. And it took me a while to figure that out.
Oh, this is a Half-Life 2 puzzle.
Yep.
Oh. These sneaky physics boys.
Yeah, and we will be seeing this used in combat a little later. It's actually pretty cool. So we're essentially weighing it down, or I guess up.
Adding
these,
buoyancy, yeah.
Yeah, we're adding buoyancy to the shipping container.
I'll admit it's clever.
Yeah, it's just not presented well in the context, because these barrels here are put a little too far away, I think. It's kind of hard to introduce the concept of the puzzle with the map that they already had.
You only start with one in there. The container's not floating already.
Yeah.
The barrels are not in a good place. It's kind of a recipe for design disaster.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, almost there now, Kate. Just need to find
The
a...
way through and get the ciphers for the shuttle plaza. Then we can finally get you off this deck.
Oh, promise?
Yeah, so this map here is just a regular sort of swimming section in the original. Also, I got the mermaid medal. I think it's for swimming 10 kilometers in total.
Okay, the awards are pretty good.
I don't know what the hell was going on there.
I thought you drowned.
I thought I drowned too, but apparently the game disagreed with me. But in XBLA, in Prophecy, they turned this section into another firefight. This time you can use pieces of floating cover, like we had in that tutorial.
Oh, well done.
This is actually a pretty fun area, if you can manage your oxygen properly. So I should probably also mention here, since I've gone through all the footage, I've edited all the episodes already, I thought that the game would eventually address the question of certain things like the crying and screaming you occasionally hear when Kate starts to drown, but I had forgotten that it never gets addressed in either version. So might as well address it now. So Kate is not hydrophobic; she's aquaphobic. And the reason for that, if you remember at the very beginning of the game, she had that sort of nightmare with the kid jumping out at her.
Yes.
That is her sister Jenny,
Shit, Kate, the Malthusians
who drowned in an adventuring accident. And ever since then, she's been afraid of water. She took on this job as a way to combat her aquaphobia.
Okay, she's doing a bang-up job.
Not yet. They don't even know I'm here.
Just leave now. I'll be right behind you.
Listen to your boss. There's a cipher in there, and that'll get you into the shuttle proper. You need to find it.
Yeah, there's a bit of extra dialogue that was cut in the original. But this fight in particular is an absolute nightmare in the original because there's just... It is simultaneously too open and not open enough. Because it's like there's a lot of horizontal cover and yet nowhere near enough vertical space to work with. It's really hard to describe, but it's just... I went through at least 8 or 9 takes trying to get something decent on this, and it's just... It's just not fun to play through at all. It was no problem on Prophecy, but it's just because of how the original game controlled. It was just awful.
Yeah, it looks a little tight.
There's also that. There's also the matter of that platform over there, which is constantly going back and forth. You have to shoot down the electric cables, otherwise you will get electrocuted if you go across that specific area. Of course, same thing goes with the enemies if you manage to lure them over. I swear that's from one of the Mega Man X games. That charge sound.
That charge sound. It does sound like it. Maybe a stock audio library or something.
It could be. I know the music is definitely from a stock.
Now find that cipher and get back.
The music is definitely from stock, and I know that because I get copyright claims on it from the stock library. Hopefully, I can dodge around that. But in terms of like the raw audio, I always get copyright claims on the video that we're using to record this. Anyway, we saved Billingham's men. This is how Act 2 ends, kind of anticlimactically. You know, we've saved all of Billingham's men, we find the cipher. Hey, they're sort of swimming around here, all excitedly. But, meanwhile, we've got this, a little extra surprise here. More plot.
More plot, you say?
To end things, with, for Act 2. Oh, I should also mention, that's another thing in Pure. They got rid of the charge limit on the LP4 on the Sonic rounds. So they were listening on that.
Good job.
Yeah, like I said, there were a lot of improvements in Prophecy that started out in Pure. Really, this is just a refinement. A lot of the big changes came from level design and story. Most of the gameplay refinements were already in Pure. Oh boy. Well, frequency keys on the other side, and we've got all that precarious electric cable swinging on over there.
A lot of garbage in this map.
Oh yeah. Get that. There you go. All right. Now we won't get zapped.
I'll hand it to him. That's clever. Like,
annoying as hell, but yes, it is clever.
I feel good though. It's like the game in both versions, the game is just starting to pick up right about here.
Now we got energy rounds. Basically, it's an AoE round for getting environmental bonuses and having enemies affected by them. So, like, if they're just out of range of, say, a gas attack or anything, it's a way to sort of connect them a little easier.
Oh no, Nanocell's purification tech.
Oh no, it's the plot.
If they get those nanobots off the ship.
Well, I guess they're gonna get them off the ship then.
Well.
Billingham's men!
Hey guys, it's Billingham's men.
Oh, yikes. right through the mask. Okay, so things got weird before. What?
Nanomachines, son?
Deadly nanomachines. So, yep, we got nanomachines. Deadly nanomachines.
The kind of nanomachines that make you puke.
Meanwhile, over in XBLA, we're just sort of ready to go here. Hey, look, there's theenglishman. Woo! This is where I was supposed to go before. I think I'm going to put the commentary there instead. Or here instead. So just pretend that's where I was saying it before. Is here. Yay. And you just sort of go over to the next area, find the cipher, and it just sort of ends really anticlimactically. But Act 2 is going to keep going a little bit. Just a little bit more. So yeah, that's the end of Act 2 at XBLA. But on PC, we got one last crazy cutscene. And we got Avatar shirt and pants.
Hey guys, remember avatars?
I still have mine.
I might.
I should give mine the Queen of the World shirt that I unlocked.
There you go.
Let's get some use out of this LP. All right, here we go. Here's the next crazy cutscene. In like 5 seconds.
If you've never played a game and sworn at somebody for not stepping out.
Kate, what's happening? Talk to me.
Kate! Kate!
Kate?
What?
It's the nanobots.
Scoot, are you there?
Of course I'm here.
I think you got something on you,
What?
Kate. Oh no, it's the sands. They're affecting me.
Katos, mother of boy.
And that's how Act 2 ends in the PC version. Act 3 on Prophecy is oh boy, it's much longer than it is in the XBLA version, and it goes into some crazy places.
Oh, we're finally getting plot, and then I hope they don't let me down? Question mark? I think they're going to, but...
It's gonna keep you entertained. I'll say that much.
Okay. I think that's a fair trade-off.